We go straight to court where proceedings have just wrapped up at the Pretoria Commercial Crimes Court, where 6 people, including high-ranking members of the South African Police Service, appeared on charges of fraud, corruption and theft. And we've got news just in at the moment that the disgraced suspended Acting National Police Commissioner Khomotso Phahlane and his co-accused submitted written affidavits for their bail applications at the Specialized Commercial Crimes Court. They all pleaded not guilty. All right, let's cross then to our senior reporter, Patricia Visagie, who is in court for us and has been following the story for us. A very good afternoon to you, Patricia. All right, take us through what's happening at the moment. As I've said, the news just in that they've certainly pleaded not guilty, but just take us through what's been going on in court as you've been in there.
Of course, to our viewers, certainly has been a very hectic day for the legal teams, the media involved, but also the accused, the 6 who appeared here at the Crime Commercials Court here in Pretoria since early this morning. So we've been at it since around 8 o'clock. Of course, network being poor here at court, so we were unable to really give our viewers a blow-by-blow account of what is happening here, or rather what transpired here. Also, limitations for the media, with only the 3 broadcasters that were allowed in court. The rest of the media, unfortunately, were not able to be part of the proceedings, which is really unfortunate, but we understood where the magistrate was coming from. Really a small courtroom, also highlighting the health limitations, saying that COVID is still amongst us, so we have to take that into consideration, and that is how the media numbers were then brought down to only 3, the 3 broadcasters being allowed to be part of the proceedings. But as I said, network issues really making things difficult for us today. But it has been a very interesting court case, but also very challenging, as you would understand. 6 people applying for bail, all of them having their own legal representatives. Only accused number 5 and 7. Number 5 being the former National Police Commissioner, Khomotso Phahlane, him, and of course a former top cop who was a major general, and that is Agnes Makhele. The 2 of them being represented by advocate Piet Du Plessis. Now all the accused submitted affidavits. That is how they gave their representation through, of course, their legal reps, in terms of what they brought forward before court, facing the charges that they are facing, which is corruption charges, fraud, and of course money laundering charges. They're facing a Schedule 5 offence, which is a very serious offence. The magistrate also saying that the crime that the accused are accused of is a serious one. And that is also how she got to giving them bail, which range from about 5,000 and 50,000. Khomotso Phahlane got 20,000 rand bail. So after spending a night behind bars, the 6 did get bail today. They obviously trying to get the monies that they need to pay. They're still inside, and then they'll be off to their homes. Now, just to give background about the case, it is a tender-related corruption case that links to a tender that is worth about 54 or over 54 million rand, coming from around 2016. It is alleged that there was a tender within crime intelligence that was spearheaded, allegedly, by the former top cop Khomotso Phahlane. And this was apparently intended to, provide software to spy, or rather monitor social media activity related to the then Fees Must Fall campaign. Now, according to the state, there is no evidence that those services were actually rendered, and that is how they then started to investigate the group to find out what exactly happened and how did it happen that almost a year and a half after the Fees Must Fall campaign, then there was this tender that was issued to monitor social media activity, but there was no trace of the actual work that was done. The investigation spanned over a period of 5 years, so it's been coming. It's been a lengthy, thorough investigation. That's what we hear from, of course, the state. And the state saying that they've got a watertight case that will be ventilated when the trial starts. Of course, the accused are expected to be back in court on the 7th of December. On the 17th of October, the legal representatives are expected to, disclose certain information that's still outstanding, assets that is still not disclosed to the state, just to obviously get all the nitty-gritties in this matter together before the 7th of December, when we will be hearing in which direction exactly the case will be going. But I think the bottom line here, and perhaps the highlight, is the affidavit. The affidavit that was submitted by Khumutso Phahlane, where he's saying that he is innocent. The charges against him are irrational. This is just another witch hunt to humiliate him and really to just get the cheap publicity out of this. But he has done nothing wrong. He has never, submitted any false information. He has served the country in his acting capacity as National Police Commissioner then with utmost integrity. So that in a nutshell, and of course, as you have mentioned, all the accused pleading not guilty, saying that the charges against them are not withstanding and they have solid proof. But the state saying that they also have a watertight case and they have, enough evidence to make sure that the 6 accused are brought to book. We also understand that more arrests are expected. We're not sure exactly who, but it is a case that we will follow tightly.
Very interestingly, Pat, that the only one of the 6 that has been named is Khumutso Phahlane. And I will note that as you were reporting too, the only person that you did name there was indeed Khumutso Phahlane. Perhaps take our viewers through that and the process of naming and why he's the one to be named out of all of them.
I think the reason why we're really focusing on him, he was, at the time when it's alleged this particular crime was committed, he was the country's top cop, charged with the responsibility of, safeguarding the country and making sure that crime is not committed. But here he is, probably for, I don't know how many times now that he is appearing in court, being charged with fraud and corruption. And perhaps this indicating that, he being the leader of the group. Of course, we can name the others. There are still 2 cops who are still serving in, the ranks of the police, 2 top cops, one of them a major general, and that is Obed Nematunzela. He's also part of crime intelligence. And of course, Lieutenant Colonel Godfrey Mawai, he's also a part of the group. The other 2 are businessmen from Durban, and that is Avendra Naidu and Ibanite Kestia. Those are the other 2. And of course, a retired cop, a former cop who was also a major general, and that is Agnes Makele, who is no longer a police officer. But I think the reason why the spotlight is on Phahlane is because he was supposed to perhaps not be among those who are charged with such serious crimes. He was supposed to lead by example, but of course he's saying he is innocent. This is a witch hunt. This is attempts to assassinate his good character. He has done nothing wrong. You'd understand that he is suspended since 2017, and since then he's been fighting to get back his position, or rather to be reinstated within the ranks of the SAPS. His matter is still pending in the Pretoria High Court, where he is still trying to fight to get his job back. But the example here why the focus is on Phahlane is really about he should not have been being part of the group that are now charged with fraud and corruption and money laundering.
All right, Patricia Visagie there for us at the Pretoria Commercial Crimes Court. Many thanks to you. 6 people, of course, including high-ranking members of the South African Police Service, appearing on charges of fraud, corruption and theft. And, of course, as we've said, at this particular time, they have been granted bail in the Commercial Crimes Court and have pleaded, indeed, not guilty.